Okay, so this camera is just a little bit hyped up online, so I thought it'd be fun today to get a total outsider perspective on it. So Austin here, who's very much not a Fujifilm shooter, is gonna give it a shot and give us his thoughts. So I'm gonna follow him around with the camera, let him take some photos, and just see what he thinks of it. So have you ever shot with a Fujifilm of any kind?
First time.
Okay, that's the first one?
Yep.
And you were on Canon for how many years?
Probably about 5 years.
Okay.
I was on Canon.
And you just recently got to Lumix?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you had the GX85?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yep, GX85. Size-wise, it's not as bulky as this, but it's kind of has that compact feel. Hearing a lot about this is probably why I ended up going with the GX85.
Yeah.
Because of like similar size, and although it's a removable lens, it still kind of works perfect for street photography and
definitely
being more discreet.
Yeah, I know, like the S9's gotten really popular. The Sony RX cameras are super huge now. I think people are kind of taking a page out of Fuji's book for sure right now.
It works. Yay! Yeah, awesome. Yeah.
It's kind of cool to see you doing street portraits because I just did a video in Chicago doing street portraits with the same camera.
Yeah. Oh,
so I think it lends itself well to that because it's a nice conversation starter too.
Yeah, it really is. I took that one portrait the other night.
Yeah.
And then I haven't really. I still getting like comfortable like going up to people and it's that. I think I showed you the photos. The lady I like went up to, she was like trying to kiss me.
Oh yeah.
I was just like, no, and then she was like, I'll only be in the picture.
Yeah. The optical viewfinder you might enjoy. So if you put it up to your eye and you flip the little switch on the front, like this thing, it'll switch it into optical mode. So then you get a straight up rangefinder, like glass clear viewfinder. Yeah. So that's a big selling point. It's like that, and the X Pros have the optical, the OBF. So, but it is a little challenging, like if you're looking at color and that kind of stuff, because you can't really tell what the exposure looks like. Okay, so when I asked you where you wanted to shoot today, because I wanted you to be kind of like on your home turf, like a little more comfortable, you said South Broadway, and I'm curious, what made you choose this spot?
I think it's really where I just started like taking photos.
Okay.
When I started photography, this is where I went a ton, so it feels familiar and it feels like I know where to go.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot to be said for that, like familiarity and kind of knowing like where your hot spots are, where people are going to be around and stuff, for sure.
Yeah, and I was also thinking like, oh man, I gotta find like the perfect spot to like take some bangers. I just like everyone else is reading Rick Rubin. I think he said something along the lines of everything, like nothing stays the same, and so I'm trying to take that like mindset when it comes to my photography too, and like go into the same neighborhoods and stuff. Like, I may go to like the same streets, but I might have a different view or a different creative spark when I go there like the second time.
Yeah.
So
I mean, even throughout the seasons, like the light changes, you might get a rainy day, cloudy day, like whatever, or there's just different people out.
Yeah. So. And just like we just ran into like there's like this pop-up vintage clothing thing, so there's always something to like new going back to things. So
okay. Yeah. Well, that was the other thing, is I was like, okay, don't worry about the quality of the photos. Like, don't worry about taking your best photos ever, because it'd be super unfair if I were to hand you a camera you've never used and be like, okay, take exclusively bangers while I film you for my YouTube channel, please.
I was gonna try out all the film simulations, but I ended up going back to standard.
Yeah, I think sometimes when the light is really harsh, it is kind of difficult to tell the difference between a lot of them. If you're interested, one of my favorite things to do is to shoot in acros, which is black and white.
Yeah. Ooh, I haven't done that yet.
So there's two black and whites. There's monochrome and there's acros, but I think acros looks a little better. It's kind of like a little punchier. It kind of looks like HP5 to me, if you've ever shot that. I think you have, right?
I just bought a roll, but I haven't shot it yet. You're right, this black and white is really cool.
Right? We've already converted him to Acros.
I know, I've been getting used to this little pop-out screen too, because my GX75 has the same type of screen.
Oh, cool, yeah, so you're used to it.
Yeah. I haven't shot video with it yet, but I'll have to like use my phone or something to like as a monitor. But so far I really like these screens because it's just so easy. Yeah, like you said, to shoot waist level and kind of feel more discreet that way.
Yeah.
Too. Just shooting around the neighborhood when there's not a lot of people.
Yeah.
Do you ever struggle with like, oh, I gotta be shooting like subject or
yeah,
shit like that?
Definitely. Yeah, you see a scene that you like sometimes, and then you're like, all this needs is a person, but there's nobody around. So I guess I should also ask you, seeing as this is a fixed lens camera, how you feel about 35, because that is kind of like a determining factor, I think, for how people feel about the X100.
Yeah, I was not expecting it to be 35, but because I've been shooting 50 a lot.
Okay,
and
yeah.
Even when I go out, I just like try and stick with that. I feel like it's good to challenge yourself with just sticking to one focal length, and I feel like 35 is like that perfect happy medium. It's like wide enough, but it's also close enough.
I think it's kind of a bold choice for a fixed lens camera in 2026 to be $2,000 and also like only 35.
Yeah.
There is the digital zoom, but then you lose resolution, so.
Because I was actually surprised, because I honestly haven't really looked at like the specs for it.
Yeah.
And I was surprised that it doesn't have a zoom lens.
Yeah. Because like most point and shoots have like a standard zoom range, or like even some have like a crazy long zoom range. You know, like the old school early 2000s ones that zoomed to like 200 millimeter and stuff.
Yeah, but I really like it though. I feel like 35 is perfect for it.
This is me every day. I think I've got you tripping 2 or 3 times, and then I've got me almost dropping the camera because I'm falling over at least a couple of times on here.
This light is great, but it's just too harsh right now.
Yeah, it is really harsh.
It's gonna look great later. Yeah, I love the look. Oh, 2, 3. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
I feel like Pauly B right now, except with less insightful interview questions. So there's a lot of interest about the X100VI, Fujifilm cameras in general, online, on social media. Did it live up to your expectations? Is there anything that surprised you? Sorry, it's just me and this one lav mic against the world. So
yeah, I feel like it definitely, in some aspects, lived up to the expectations, and some others that I found kind of annoying and kind of challenging with it.
Okay, tell me about some of the challenging, annoying things.
So when I was trying to shoot like only manual, and it could have been a user error as well, but that took a long time to adjust my settings because I had to like lift up the the shutter speed, and I had to like change it for the ISO, and that kind of took a long time. And then I feel like just like where the knobs are, it doesn't like feel as natural as what I'm used to.
Okay.
So that was kind of one of the challenging parts of it.
I honestly, I can see that, because I think for a lot of people, the friction of the manual dials is kind of part of the Fujifilm experience.
Yeah.
But they are also slower than just command wheels on like a Sony, or like I have the XH2S, where I can just flip through, shutter speed and aperture settings really, really quick. So it definitely does slow you down. Do you find that to be more of an annoyance than like something that you enjoy, like a friction that you kind of enjoy?
Today, I think it was more of an annoyance. In general, I think shooting more film, it feels more like familiar. I like having the shutter speed like as a dial like on top. And then I like being able to like change the ISO as well. Kind of similar to what I'm used to with my Minolta. I did like the aperture like on the lens itself.
That's one of my favorite things about Fujifilm is the aperture rings. Yeah.
So I guess in some ways like it does feel very familiar and like easy to do, but it just, for today's purposes, it felt a little kind of annoying to change settings in that kind of more manual mode.
Okay. Yeah. I respect that.
Yeah.
So prior to today, you never shot with a Fujifilm camera, but it's pretty hard to go on like Instagram or YouTube without seeing content about them.
Yep.
So what was your perception of Fujifilm before today?
I always thought it was like primarily like the kind of film look and the film. So I was like really curious at first to try some of like the film looks in the camera.
Yeah, the simulations.
The simulations. And I was actually kind of surprised. Like I tried a couple of them, and then I didn't feel like it was what I was looking for. For my shot, and so I just kind of shot in standard. The rest of the time, film simulation wasn't as
much of a draw.
As I thought it would be.
I think you spent most of the day in like Provia or Acros, right?
Yeah.
Like black and white? Okay. I've always been on the fence about, like, is it a gimmick? Is it something that adds real value? I think for JPEG shooters, it, like, unquestionably adds a lot of value because you don't have to edit your images as long as you're happy with how they look out of the camera. But for somebody like me that edits my RAWs, I'm like, is this just something that's nice to see on the back screen?
But it didn't take away my, like, experience from shooting with it. It wasn't like a big drawback, but it was just something I had noticed that I was expecting from it that I didn't get from it though.
Okay, yeah. Not quite as like exciting as you thought it might be. Okay, so you and your partner have shot weddings and like paid client work in the past. Something I find interesting about Fujifilm is this is a $2,000 camera, yet it is not something that you would probably do that with. Is this something that you could see a place for in your kit just for sheer enjoyment and fun?
Oh, definitely. I like having shot with the R6 once and knowing how other photographers work like in the wedding industry, I can definitely see like the drawbacks that you would get from this as like being your primary for like a big event. But I think for me personally, I am seeing photography more as like an art and as capturing moments, and so like the gear isn't as important. And I think I would probably be able to find my way with this as my primary or like as a backup or something, because it's just so easy to shoot with, and even though it doesn't have like all of like the same specs as like as the R6 or similar cameras, it still can take good photos, and I think I would be comfortable delivering photos with this. Do you mind if I share a couple things that I
please go ahead
about it? Honestly, just like it felt really comfortable in my hands, and even though it was like a fixed lens, it was 35 millimeters was, or 35 millimeter equivalent was more than enough. It was wide enough, and it was also taking those portraits on the sidewalk and like in that little vintage clothing pop-up we saw. I felt like 35 was perfect. I think 50 would have been a little bit too close.
See, I'm converting, you know.
I know you are. I'm start shooting 35 now.
Tiny's gonna be so mad at me. She's gonna be like, "You're converting another 50 millimeter shooter."
Honestly, the screen was a game changer for me for this.
What about
the screen's really nice.
Like the size or the quality, resolution, like
quality.
Okay.
Because I kind of downgraded at least my viewfinder from my RP to my GX85, and so having something that's a small viewfinder but like still really clear was really nice. And I feel like the colors, just from looking at the screen, I felt like they were really accurate as well.
Nice.
So the screen was great, and I like the little pop out as well.
Perfect for waist level shooting and stuff.
And it has a little bit more reach, I feel like.
You actually, if you fold it down like around too, you can shoot above your head also with it, which is something I do at like events like Pride and stuff. When I was there, I kind of had the camera like over my head.
And I'm short too, so it's like perfect for that. I think it lives up to the hype.
Okay.
I think there's probably other options that you could find that are similar that kind of get you a similar result, but I think for the quality, if I was gonna go Fujifilm, like I would feel comfortable getting this as my first Fujifilm.
Well, thanks so much for participating in this experiment with me.
Of course.
Thanks for your time. And if people want to find you on Instagram, or feel free to plug whatever.
I don't have like a specific photography page, but my Instagram is agmorrow, MORROW.
Cool.
So that's kind of where I post really anything in most of my photos, and then starting to do some videos. I'm not sure where that's going to take me yet, but I do have a tag in the description.
Yeah, and I'll link it and everything. Your reels have been really cool.
Oh, thanks.
Like I was telling you earlier, I loved the one about changing your guitar strings as a musician, semi-ex-musician, or whatever you want to call me.
You're a musician.
Really? I'll take it. I want to be in a band really bad. But yeah, no, I think people should check that out. I'll make sure that, I link it everywhere and everything. So thanks, man.
Yeah.